Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Leftover Monkey here. I hope you're all doing well. Have another show for you guys. So we're talking The Devil's Advocate, Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Charlize Theron. Pretty big names right there, but you don't seem to hear about this film mentioned alongside those names very often or at all, and that surprises me. That's where I come in, Leftover Monkey, to bring it back to the people. I'll give some of my thoughts and opinions, positives and negatives, and you know what? If you don't want to wait till the end, I gave this film a 7 out of 10, which is a damn solid mark for the type of film this is. Let's jump into it. What is this movie about? Well, it's about this young hotshot defense attorney, Kevin, played by Keanu Reeves, who practices in a small town in Florida. Has never lost a case. One day, a headhunter from New York shows up and offers Kevin a once in a lifetime opportunity to come work at a big New York firm. So Kevin chats with his wife, Marianne, played by the lovely Charlize Theron, and together they decide, yes, let's pack up and go and live the dream. And it does start off like a dream. They get the swanky New York apartment given to them. They're rubbing shoulders with some important people and making new friends, but of course, not all good things can last because the head honcho, John Milton, played by Al Pacino, who is the devil himself, literally the devil, is lurking around every corner, and the devil has got some plans for poor old Kevin. What those plans are, I'm not going to spoil that. I think you guys should check this film out and experience it for yourself. Now, I mentioned earlier about the type of film this is. Look, when the trailers and the posters for this film first came out, I remember pretty clearly that a lot of people went into it believing it was a straightforward horror film, which it is not. It is not a horror film at all. And this is probably a reason why you don't hear about this movie mentioned alongside those stars very often, because it was misread. This film here is a drama slash thriller. Well, maybe even a legal drama slash thriller. And there's a sprinkle of gothic horror, but nothing that would keep you up at night. And look, it works in those genres for the most. I'll explain a part that didn't really work. But I tell you what, if people went into it knowing it was a more of a drama, I think you would recall this movie far more when mentioning, Keanu Reeves or Al Pacino or Charlize Theron. Let me jump into one of the big positives about this film, though, and that is the acting. Everyone is on point, everyone is solid here. But let's start with the main man, Keanu Reeves. He's been in some iconic movies, played iconic characters, but let's be honest, a lot of his films, they don't demand too much talking from him. And when mentioning Keanu Reeves, he's often referred to now as the action star. However, with this film, you get Keanu Reeves, the actor. This film demands a lot from him. It's dialogue heavy, a lot of talking scenes, extended talking scenes, a lot of back and forth with Al Pacino and Charlize Theron and other characters. I tell you what, though, he does a damn good job. He holds his own against everyone here. So big props to Keanu Reeves on this. It seems like he put a lot of effort and a lot of work into this role. Let's jump into Charlize Theron now. Amazing. Her performance here is just as good as anyone. She starts off, well, her character really is starting off as that bright-eyed, optimistic country girl almost. She's very humble and honest. And they make it sound like she doesn't come from money, and her dream is really to start a family and just be happy. So when she is confronted with a more lavish lifestyle, it starts out positive enough, but it ends up becoming a little overwhelming for her because in her hometown, she was more like Kevin's legal assistant, and the film lets you know they spent a lot of time together and worked together. However, in New York, well, Kevin's schedule is different, it's more demanding, so Marianne is left on her own a lot more. The only company she has, well, is from other housewives whose partners work for the firm. And these other women, well, they're privileged and narcissistic. They spend a lot of their time gaslighting Marianne and putting her down repeatedly, like it's a vicious cycle. It further escalates when Marianne starts seeing things and, having visions. people's faces change in front of her, and you put it all together and it's one hell of a downward spiral. And boy, Charlize Theron does a great job here. She really captures what happens to someone when their mental state is being questioned or attacked. The only downside I saw here, the only negative I saw, was that her downward spiral happens a little too quickly, in my opinion. There's a scene between her and Keanu Reeves, and it goes from 0 to 100 in no time, so it's a bit jarring. I actually would have loved to have seen more of Charlize Theron in the film, maybe just walking around New York or having more visions. But yeah, minor gripe. Her performance, fantastic. Needed more of it. But now, let's talk about the master, Al Pacino. Al Pacino, my word, he's having a blast here. Whatever Al Pacino you're after, whether it's from The Godfather, Scarface, Sense of a Woman, he's in this, and it's a mix of it all. And it's just amazing. I can't count the amount of times I had a grin on my face whenever he was on screen. The stuff he was saying, I was like, Al Pacino just said that. Look, I could talk about Al Pacino's performance in this for hours, but you know, I think it's better left experienced than me just telling you. He's a master of the art. His interactions with Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron are just brilliant. Look, check it out for his performance, if not Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron's performance. Yeah, like I mentioned, the acting is top notch by everyone here. But let's get into an issue that I had with the film, and that is the legal side of it. Now, Keanu Reeves does a great job with, witness conversations, courtroom scenes, legal jargon. That's all great. The issue is the cases themselves are just not given enough time, which is odd because the movie's 2.5 hours long, so there's time, but just not enough was spent on the cases. And I'll give you an example of one. There's this client he's defending who's like a Haitian voodoo man, black magic guy, and the screen time is about 5 minutes or so, so it's not long, but you don't mind because you get this thought that this character is going to show up later on in the film, but he doesn't. So it actually ends up being a real waste of time. It adds nothing to the film. And later on, the film tells you that the devil is just testing Kevin with these cases, but in all honesty, I would have loved those 5 minutes to be used elsewhere, perhaps with Charlize Theron's character. Another minor issue here was some of the visuals. I don't know why, but they used a mix of practical and CGI effects in some scenes, and it's a little bit off-putting, but nothing, that would ruin the film in any way. But I think if they had just gone one way or the other, it would have been better. There's also another couple of scenes which, for some reason, look like you can tell they're shot in front of a green screen, and if they're not shot in front of a green screen, well, there's something wrong with the camera angle, or maybe the lighting is incorrect in this particular scene. Either way, again, those are minor gripes, but really they didn't need to be there. I think they could have shot these scenes in a different way if need be. Let's get back into a positive to end, and that there is the atmosphere of this film. I think it's just great. This starts out bright, clear, sunny, and then it gradually moves into the grey and gothic tones and continues into the descent. And this is something I had a criticism with the Midnight Meat Train, because the Midnight Meat Train starts off bleak from the beginning. This here has a better contrast. And the other atmosphere in this is dread. And it gave me like a feeling from another film that I saw a long time ago called Angel Heart, which stars Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro. A very similar style of film, okay? And if you haven't seen Angel Heart, maybe check that out. But you get a very similar taste here. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Not going to spoil anything else for you. I'm not going to spoil the ending, what happens there. If you haven't seen this film, recommend checking it out. Once again, guys, thank you for listening. Till next time, Leftover Monkey out.